Hi, everyone. I'm George Jackson, executive producer and host of GovExec TV. Today's 5 questions are with Jim Smid, principal architect, Department of Defense and Intel community. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, George.
So let's kick things off with AI, automation, big topic of conversation all across the DoD, all across the intelligence community. How are they increasingly leveraging artificial intelligence for cybersecurity, for threat response?
Sure. I like to say that artificial intelligence isn't something you go and buy or leverage in and of itself. It's always baked into the tools that we make and the tools that we create. And ever more in cybersecurity, it's about having those tools collaborate with each other and be integrated very tightly with each other. And then you can have more sophisticated artificial intelligence models that are looking at those correlations and taking what could be benign events and giving you really mission intelligence so that our DoD customers can really find the needle in the haystack from all the data that's coming at them.
Platform consolidation is where I'm hoping to go next. Jim, you used a phrase before we went on the air here. It stood out to me. I wrote it down: tool sprawl, something that Department of Defense agencies really struggle with: inefficiencies, security gaps. What is tool sprawl? Why is it so important to address?
Yeah, I think we've really inherited a security stack that a lot of times our customers were choosing best of breed products, and they didn't have the option to go with products that really were full featured and had the ability to put all those in an integrated package. And we've reached that time where you don't have to make that choice anymore. Palo Alto Networks, we offer a platform. All of the features are best of breed, and they're pre-integrated together. I think the biggest problem that my customers come to is they've got so many tools and they don't interact with each other well. They're stovepiped. Just like your question around artificial intelligence, if they're not sharing data, you can't make those really sophisticated correlations and find that data that's really relevant. It's not usually that we don't have data that has shown us where an attack has come from. A lot of time that data has just gone unnoticed. It's that correlation, and the platform really brings the power of that by having these integrated solutions. It's going to give you effectiveness. It's going to give you efficiencies by only looking through the data one time. That integration is really critical for the DoD customers to be effective and efficient at what they're trying to accomplish.
One key vulnerability, a way in, maybe not even talked about enough because it's just so commonplace, is the browser itself. Talk about the browser vulnerability implications for DoD and maybe why organizations need to rethink those right now.
Yeah, I think it ties back into your platform question. We've got a secure enterprise browser that's part of our overall network security. And it's about giving that holistic view into how you're applying security and where you're applying it. A lot of our customers, a good example is they're looking at having a level of granularity for their applications. And we've moved into a world where most of those applications are interfaced with through a browser. We've taken a standard Chromium-based browser and we've applied those security tools in and at that layer, and it gives you such a better layer of granularity for how you're applying your security tools, and it's going to pay dividends as you go down the line in terms of where you're applying your security at. That's really, think about things like just AI tools that our customers want to leverage. If you want to leverage those tools, but you want to have control over exactly what they're doing, or you're worried about whether data can be copied or whether it can be screenshot, that's really where something like a secure enterprise browser can come into play and give you that additional layer of security, and it's baked into the rest of the platform, so it all interoperates with the rest of our enterprise security tools.
I'm a big fan of buzzwords, Jim, in part because I think it helps people like you and me track where the focus for public sector relative to cybersecurity is going. I mean, zero trust was really in vogue a few years ago, certainly still important.
Sure.
Artificial intelligence, I think, became the buzzword maybe of the past few years. One that could be a buzzword in the future: quantum computing, quantum information science growing focus for the Department of Defense as you're out there advising DoD agencies, organizations? What are you telling them to do right now? What should they be keenly focused on?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, as we look at quantum and how it applies to security, we have adversarial nation states that are working on quantum computers that will be able to use algorithms to break some of our encryption tools. So, really, where we're focused on is how do we keep our data safe? We're a data centric environment. And there's a lot of pieces that come into that. And first thing I say is you need to start now because the best time to have started would have been a few years ago, but really looking at how you're going to overhaul that network and how you're going to prevent quantum computers from being able to break the cryptography that we use today. We don't know when it's coming, but we certainly know it is coming. And we know that there are nations that are putting a tremendous amount of money and manpower towards that very end. And they're collecting our data now with the intent of going through and decrypting it and looking through it in the future. So I think that you really need partnership, and you don't need a PhD in physics to understand quantum. It's important to go to somebody like Palo Alto Networks so we can come in, apply our expertise, and we're really leveraging things from a standards perspective. Because the one thing I think you'll find is that we don't know what quantum will be capable of. We're making our best guesses, but you want to be nimble enough with how your strategy is applying for post-quantum cryptography that you're able to move and change as things potentially become compromised or new standards come out. So everything we're doing is standards-based. Everything that we're doing is to help our customers understand and be proactive about quantum.
You almost anticipated where I was hoping to go next. The harvest now, decrypt later aspect that adversaries are leaning into, easier to do when organizations don't have full visibility of their enterprises. Talk to me about visibility, its importance, situational awareness, and maybe how that's complicated by a relatively complicated cloud landscape, on-prem, off-prem, hybrid, cloud native. Weave all that together for me somehow, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. You can't secure it if you can't find it and you don't have visibility into it. You've touched on the cloud nature of things. It's important that the variety of CSPs that are being used today, that you have integrations that are native to those. We don't want to replace what the CSPs offer from a security standpoint, but we want to augment it, and we want to be able to tell a better together story. Part of that is through that visibility. You want a central tool that you're collecting data from a lot of different places and you're presenting it to the operators. The operators need cybersecurity to be as simple as possible. It's already very complex where this information is coming from. So if you can get that visibility and you can use artificial intelligence and automations to present that back to an operator in a way that makes sense, you can give them best practices, you can give them potential fixes or suggest playbooks that will either automate or fix problems for them. It starts with visibility, and that's the thread you pull on. You need to operate effectively. You're going to be able to have to correlate that data together and use the tools like artificial intelligence and automation as effectively as possible.
Always great sitting down with Jim Smid, Principal Architect, Department of Defense, and Intel Community. Jim, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, George.
Thank you for tuning in. That was today's 5 questions. For GovExec TV, I'm George Jackson. Have a great day.